Hey everyone, thanks for joining us for our next Learn Live session, Fundamentals of AI Agents on Azure. My name's Anna. I'm an event planner for Reactor, joining you from Redmond, Washington. Before we start, I do have some quick housekeeping. Please take an opportunity to review our code of conduct. We'll seek to provide a respectful environment for both our audience and presenters. While we absolutely encourage engagement in the chat, we ask that you please be mindful of your commentary, remain professional, and on topic. Keep an eye on that chat. We'll be dropping helpful links and checking for questions for our moderators to answer. Our session is being recorded. It will be available to view on demand right here on the Microsoft Reactor YouTube channel. With that, I'd love to turn it over to our presenters for today. April, Savita, thank you so much for joining.
Hey, everyone.
Hello, everyone. I'm Savita Mittal. I'm very excited to be here today with my colleague, April. We will be covering AI agents on Azure. I'm Senior Data and AI Technical Specialist. April, over to you.
Yes. Hey, everyone. I'm April Spate. I'm a Principal Cloud Advocate here at Microsoft in our AI team. Looking forward today to showcasing more about agents and finishing us off with how to actually create an agent. So, Savita, should we get started?
Thank you so much, April. So let's get started with how we can create AI agents and what AI agents are. This is a great URL to module AI agent fundamentals. Please do copy it. And if you want to follow it after the workshop, please do take a look. This is the AI Skill Fest, which is still going on. Join the Guinness World Record title, basically. And if you haven't registered yet, take a moment now so you don't miss out on the basically Great AI Skill Fest. And you can engage with your peers and expert. Learning is better when we do it together. And we will begin with an introduction to AI agents, including generative AI models and the core concept essential for understanding AI agents. And we will deep dive into how we can do the agent development with April. And there will be some knowledge check and some key takeaways out of this session. And let's deep dive. What are AI agents? Look at this great AI ecosystem. This ecosystem shows how Microsoft is bringing AI into every aspect of our work, making our tools smarter and our workflows more efficient. Copilot, AI Foundry, and Machine Learning Studio. As you can see, it's filled with different apps. So we have Copilot. All are basically Microsoft 365 apps are integrated with AI capabilities, helping user with tasks like drafting emails, summarizing documents, and much more. It leverages large language models to provide these capabilities. And then we have a Copilot Studio where we can create test and deploy custom copilots. It includes advanced capabilities of the Azure Copilot framework and integrates with over 1,000 pre-built and customer data connectors. And then AI Foundry. AI Foundry is nothing but our AI studio. It's a comprehensive platform for designing, customizing, and managing AI applications and agents at scale. It integrates with popular developer tools like GitHub and Visual Studio Code and Copilot Studio as well. So AI Foundry brings together various AI models, like it has a full-fledged model catalog, it has a tooling services and solutions into a single experience. Long story short, you have all AI under one roof. And then we have a machine learning studio. It's a collaborative drag and drop tool where you can build, test, and deploy predictive analytic solutions on your data. So it provides a visual workspace for data scientists to develop machine learning models without needing to write a code. And how they relate, basically integration and collaboration. So Machine Learning Studio can be used to develop machine learning models that can be integrated into Copilot and Copilot Studio. So it allows for the creating of custom AI solutions that leverages the power of machine learning models developed in Machine Learning Studio. So what are the AI agents exactly, basically? So an AI agent automates and executes business processes nearly autonomously. AI agents can plan, adapt to a new information, and execute tasks independently, making them capable of handling complex and dynamic environments, decision making, and autonomous action. So they can learn from feedback, adjust their strategies, and operate with minimal human oversight. So Azure AI agent can solve a variety of problems across different domains: efficiency and productivity, automating repetitive tasks. Customer service offer 24/7 support, ensuring customer receives assistance at any time, handling a large volume of customer queries simultaneously, and many more customer focused scenarios. And data management, basically analyzing large data sets to extract valuable insight and trends, ensuring data accuracy, consistency by automating data entry and verification processes. Decision making. So provide data driven recommendation and insight to support business decisions, automating decision making process such as approving transaction, approving decisions, and evaluating risk, and personalization, tailoring interactions and recommendation based on individual user preferences and behaviors. So take AI agents as basically a microservice, and they are powered by large language model. Before AI agent, we were doing the same thing, but without large language model. Now the piece of code is powered by large language model and called an agent. Basically, you're defining a task, you're powering AI agent with the large language model, and basically automating several tasks. Look at that. Azure AI Foundry, a most powerful resource within Azure AI ecosystem. So every new generation of application has brought a changing set of needs. So just as web, mobile, cloud drive the rise of a new application platform, so too will AI involve how we build, run, govern, and optimize applications that are defined by AI. So Azure AI Foundry, basically a comprehensive set of AI tools and services designed to help businesses leverage AI at scale. It can provide secure and customizable solutions to build AI powered applications. Again, one stop shop for all your needs. So you have a model catalog, AI search, agent services, and content safety, machine learning studio, and you have a SDK and UI portal available as well. You can discover, evaluate, design, and build and manage and optimize under one roof. And let's see how it can be done. This is a kind of a detailed screen of AI Foundry ecosystem. As you can see, all possible AI services, all possible model catalog, and then AI Foundry SDK. You can create solutions in GitHub, OpenAI service, Databricks models, and Snowflake models, or models not from the Azure OpenAI, but models from the other non Microsoft models are also available to choose to create your AI application. And then you have lots of other AI services like translation and Azure functions also available. You can connect pretty much with any data source within Azure Foundry, and then you can manage the performance by leveraging monitor and app configuration and cost management and various other services basically under one Azure Foundry portal. So if you do not know where to start with your AI application, go ahead and log into portal.azure.com and create an Azure AI Foundry, and then it opens up the door for all possible AI services. So in more complex scenarios, organization can develop multi-agent solutions as well, in which multiple agents coordinate work between them. So you can create one AI agent which is powered by LLM for one task, and you can create another AI agent powered by LLM again for another task, and then connect basically. So like for example, a travel booking agent. A travel booking agent can book flights and hotels for employees and automatically submit expense claims with appropriate receipts to the expense management basically. And then so for example, a user can provide detail of an upcoming trip to a travel booking agent, and then travel booking agent automates the booking of flight tickets and hotel reservation, and then travel booking agent also initiates the expense claim for the travel cost to the similarly we can basically connect different tasks, again call each agent, it's acts as a microservice powered by LLM. So what are the different options available basically for agent development? So how we can get started with agent development? Of course, Foundry is one place basically where we can explore different options. But what are the different development framework and SDKs are available basically? So within Azure AI Agent, there are various development frameworks available. So each framework comes with its own set of tools and capabilities, allowing developers to tailor their solutions to meet specific requirements. So this flexibility is crucial as it enables the development of intelligent agents that can perform a wide range of tasks effectively. Additionally, SDKs play a vital role in streamlining the integration process, enhancing the overall functionality of these agents. So, by leveraging these resources, developers can build robust AI solutions more efficiently, ultimately driving innovation and improving user experience. So, basically, there is no limitation. Okay, I want to work in Java, or I want to work in Python, or I want to work in .NET. So basically, you can develop agent in any choice and there are any choice of language. And plus, there are a lot of frameworks also available, and we will see how we can develop the solution in that. So there is a framework called Semantic Kernel, which is a lightweight open source development kit designed to build AI agents effectively. Its core SDK components various generative AI development tasks, promoting innovation in AI solution. This framework is specially optimized for creating intelligent agents and implementing agentic solution. This also makes it an important tool for developers looking to create AI agents that are both effective and efficient. Autogen, again, another framework. It's also an open source framework for developing agents rapidly. It is useful as a research and ideation tool when experimenting with agents. So I would highly recommend, if you're thinking Autogen from production perspective, so it is not ready yet from the production perspective. It is still in an experimenting phase. So do give it a try for your research and ideation projects. The Autogen also serves as a powerful tool for experimentation with agent functionality and designs, basically, so you can explore the capability leveraging Autogen framework from the ideation and research perspective. Another SDK we have is Microsoft 365 Agent SDK. It's a versatile tool for developers. It allows the creation of self-hosted agents for various applications, enabling these agents to be delivered through multiple channels beyond Microsoft 365, such as Slack and Messenger. So this SDK supports the development of agents that can serve various purposes across different platforms and services. So these are self-hosted agents, and we can connect these agents basically on Slack, Messenger, or any other SaaS-based platform. Another basically platform, we have Microsoft Copilot Studio, which provides a low-code development environment that citizen developers can use quickly to build and deploy agents that integrate with Microsoft 365 ecosystem or commonly used channels like Slack, Messenger, email system, Outlook system as well. So Microsoft Copilot Studio, earlier it used to be a power virtual agent. Now it is powered by some LLM capabilities and a lot of other flexibility and automation possible. You can create your own low code, no code, custom copilots quickly without needing to write much code in that. It offers a visual design interface that is ideal for those with little or no professional software development experience, simplifying the building process. And basically, again, low code, no code, and it is part of Office 365. So choosing an agent development solution, basically there are different considerations possible for business users, for professional developers, and from IT administrators. So for business users with little to no software development experience, Copilot Studio Agent Builder in Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat provides a way to create a simple declarative agents that automate everyday tasks. Pretty much every task in the organization can be automated, and Copilot Studio is basically an answer to a lot of those manual processes, can easily convert it into an automated solution. So this approach can empower users across an organization to benefit from AI agents with minimal impact on IT and reduces time, big time. Basically, you can pretty much automate every manual operation literally in no time. If business users have sufficient technical skills to build low code, no code solution using Microsoft Power Platform technology, again, Copilot Studio enables them to combine those skills with their business domain knowledge and build agent solutions that extend the capabilities of Microsoft 365 Copilot or add agentic functionality to common channels like Microsoft Teams, Slack, and Messenger or other platforms as well. Basically it empowers every user in the organization. So when an organization needs more complex extension, like for professional developers, they want to have more Copilot capabilities, so they can also leverage Microsoft 365 agents SDK basically to write a little bit more code instead of just a UI approach. They can build agents leveraging Microsoft 365 agent SDK that target the same channels as Copilot Studio, but it is again one step ahead with some customization possible with Office 365 Agents SDK. So develop agentic solution that use Azure backend services with a choice of models. Again, model catalog is available as well, custom storage and search services options too, and integration with several Azure AI services like translation service, speech service as well. Like so, it sits between enterprise level Copilot and Microsoft 365 Copilot Studio. Basically, again, a little bit more possibility available with choice of Azure AI services, storage services, surface services. With that, professional developers can use AI agent service in AI Foundry as well. So you can start with Azure AI agent service to develop single standalone agents. When you need to build multi-agent solution, again, you can use our semantic kernel to orchestrate the agents in your solution. So what are the different components of AI agent? We have generative AI model. We have several AI, open AI models available. Then Azure AI Foundry, basically, as I mentioned, it's your one place basically where you can leverage agents playground uh, to kind of do the proof of concept. And once you are satisfied that, okay, I want to create an agent, and then it is powered by GPT-4o model, and my agent should do this, and the database I want to refer in this basically Azure blob storage or this CSV files or from SharePoint, like basically I want to chat with my data, and then you can leverage the SDK to do more with this agent. Basically, the Azure AI Foundry is kind of a playground to test some of the functionality, how my agent might work. So we were talking about the knowledge base, basically data sources. So knowledge can be derived from various data sources that provide context to prompts, enhancing understanding and relevance. So you data sources can be like basically, as I mentioned, Microsoft SharePoint or blob storage or SQL, or you can even connect with Bing. Basically, you can grounding, you can chat with the internet as well, like by integrating Bing. You can have a AI search index as well, where you can connect the data source with AI search, and you can aggregate and organize data, making it accessible basically for grounding of prompts. And you can connect with your personal data and documents as well for a more tailored and specific knowledge base, basically for your user need. But again, we are saying that AI agents you can powered with LLM model. You can connect any data source to chat with your data to gain insights out of your data. And we have various sources, basically, again, internet search results via Microsoft Bing, or AI search, or your own data source, basically from coming from SQL or blob storage or Oracle or any other data source, basically. So we have, again, various tools available as well, programmatic functions that enable the agent to automate actions, built-in tools to access knowledge in Azure AI Search and Bing are also provided as well. Again, those are available as of now, right from the portal, basically right from the Azure AI Foundry portal. And you have a code interpreter tool as well, basically that you can use to generate and run Python code. Also, if you want to create an agent for code interpretation, you can also create custom tools using your own code of Azure functions. So lots of possibilities. And we will see some of that with April. So with that said, now we are ready to do the AI agent development with April.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much, Savita. I appreciate that. Folks that are just tuning in, welcome to our stream. We are going over the fundamentals of agents. I'm April again. I will be taking you through the exercise that we have for the lab. I do see that the link to the lab was shared earlier. So if you are following along with me, I will go through what the steps are in there. So just to make sure we're level setting, this screen that I have here up is what the exercise look like. And it does provide step-by-step instructions from creating your project and then also deploying models and then how you create the agent. So again, if you are following along live with me, if you start to fall a little bit behind, check out the instructions. Everything is there. You can continue to submit your questions to the chat. We'll check them out and answer as best as we can. We do have some Microsoft folks in there hanging out answering your questions. All right, so with that said, and without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and dive into the exercise we have here. We do estimate that it takes about 30 minutes if you're starting from scratch going through this exercise. I have already created my hub and my project. However, if you're unfamiliar with using Foundry, I'll explain what that is. In order to start working with building in Foundry, you need both a hub and you're also going to need a project created. So we have in the instructions how you can go about doing so. I'm going to show you on the screen as well where you would go to do that. So here is Azure AI Foundry. That's what I have up. And then to create a new hub and project, if I started from the beginning here, you can create a new project there. And then from there, you can provide the name for the project. If you don't have a hub, then it'll give you a name here. You can create a new hub as well. I do see someone is asking, where is the exercise? If you are in the module, it's going to be towards the end of the module itself. There is a hyperlink that you can click on there. Once you click that, it'll open up the exercise instructions that I've shared on my other screen right here with all the instructions. So that's where you can find the exercise. If one of the folks from Microsoft can put the link in the chat, that would be super helpful so all my friends can follow along with me. All right. So back over here in Foundry, you're going to create that project. And then once you've created the project, you're going to click Create. And then from there, you'll open up to where you'll actually be able to start doing things in Foundry. So I already have my stuff set up. Coming here, however, to the model catalog is where we're going to kick things off. So in order to move forward, what you'll need to do is actually deploy a model. If you've been using Foundry, you may notice that we have some new things in here. We now have model leaderboards, for example, which you may be familiar with on other platforms. But in addition to that, below is where you can find all the models that we have available in Azure AI Foundry. We're going to be deploying GPT-4o for this exercise. The way you can go about finding that is just doing a search in the model catalog. You can type in GPT-4o, just like that. And then it should pop up as hopefully the first choice that we have here. Once you've selected that, you're going to click Deploy. I already have this deployed, so I'm not going to redeploy it, but just for the sake of example, you would select Deploy here. And then what you're going to do is provide a name for the deployment. So the default will typically be the actual name of the model itself. Because I already have this model deployed, that's why it has appended a 2 at the end. You can name it whatever you want, but I would suggest best practice, you probably want to keep it as the same name of the model, especially if you're doing things with code outside of the UI. Trust me, it helps a lot. The next thing you'll do is decide on the deployment type. So for this exercise, we recommend selecting global standard. And if you are curious to know more about costs, we do have a link there as well where you can click to learn more about the costs associated with this particular deployment for this model. Then down below in the customize section, you're going to select that. And this is where you can then decide which model version you want to use. And we have some options available. This is more or less standard across the various models that you can deploy. So this isn't necessarily just special to GPT-4o. And then in addition to that, it'll automatically select your AI resource to connect this to. Now, the big thing I want to call out, especially if you're working with agents, is going to be the tokens per minute rate limit. You may notice if you've done this in the past that you hit rate limits if you have a lower threshold. So what I'm going to recommend is just to tick that up a bit. I think for the one I already have deployed, I think I'm at probably 100K, I want to say. I did try with a smaller amount and I did hit some rate limits, unfortunately. So that's just a fair warning if you're doing a deployment here. And then the final thing you'll do is click deploy, and then it'll deploy the model itself. So if you're curious as to what that looks like once it's been deployed, I have one here, which is going to be the one that I have for this demo, I believe. Hopefully that's the one. And so this is what it'll look like. This is where you can find more information about the deployment that you deployed. Okay. So next thing we're going to do is head over into creating the agent. In the left navigation, you'll navigate underneath build and customize, and you're going to select agents. Now I've already have created an agent to do for the demo purposes, just wanted to save myself, but I am going to take you through the actual step-by-step process as well. I just know that this one that I have created does work perfectly, so that's great. But let's still actually go through the steps to create the agent. So here we're going to select new agent, and then automatically you'll notice that an ID has been assigned to the agent as well. Why do we need this ID? Well, this is how we're going to identify what agent we're referring to. And if you're doing things programmatically with code, this is also going to be super helpful if you need to reference that agent in whatever app that you're building. Because we're doing everything here in the UI today, we're not going to leverage VS Code for anything. Everything's going to be done here. However, you can create an agent here in the portal, and you can still use that agent in VS Code. So you can use this as your starting place and then migrate over into VS Code if you'd like to do that. So now that I've already went to create the agent and I have a new ID, I now need to give the agent a name. We do provide a default name for the agent. As you can see here on my screen, this one is defaulted to agent 754. It sounds like it's some fancy agent. However, you can name your agent whatever you want. I would recommend to give the agent a specific name just so that way you can differentiate between what are all the different agents that you may be creating. Again, especially if you are doing some things with code, it'll just be helpful to just differentiate what's what. Now below, you can select which model you want to use for the agent itself. Now as you can see here, the default one was the GPT-4o, but as I mentioned, I have more than one deployed. So if you have multiple deployments already created, you can decide which one you want to use for the agent that you are building. And so in this case, let's say I wanted to go with the first or the second one that I have. Is this the one? Let's see. We'll just select this one. Okay. Now, once you have your deployment selected, the next thing you'll need to do is give the agent some instructions. So if you have been doing some creation with AI assistants in the past and you're familiar with creating a system message, this is pretty much what this is. What you're going to do here is provide some detailed information and instructions for the agent to follow. This is where you can define things such as the behavior of the agent, or maybe if you want to tell it like, don't generate emojis, which is like one thing I always have to add because it seems like anytime I try something, it loves to generate emojis. So this is where you can define those things. You can tell it what sort of tone it should have, whether it should speak a certain way, whether it should format things a certain way as well. That's what's going to go in this instructions area. So for the agent that we're going to be creating in this exercise, it's going to be an expense agent that you would use for a job. And it has corporate policies around expenses. Now, in the exercise itself, we do have a document that we provide that I'll share with you in a second, but I just wanted to level set to make sure you're aware of like, what are we even building here? So let's say I call mine expenses agent. And from there, I'm going to select the deployment. And then for the instructions. So here in the steps, We do have some instructions, I believe, that we provided here in step 4, which is just answer questions related to expense claims. Now, I know this is a lab. However, I would highly recommend, if you are defining instructions, which you should be doing, you want more detailed beyond what we have here. While it's okay to just leave your instructions as simple as this, you have a world available to you to truly define exactly how specific it is that you want the agent to interact and engage or to generate its responses. So for the sake of example, we're going to keep things pretty short. We just have answer questions related to expense claims. All right. Now, the next thing is where things actually get interesting. And I think this is what I personally like the most when it comes to creating agents, especially if you're doing things here in the UI, because we provide a pretty approachable way of actually adding what is going to be called knowledge. So the model that we've used so far, GPT-4o, for example, if we were to just ask the agent a question right now, it's pretty much grabbing information from whatever corpus of data it's been trained on. But because we're creating an agent that is focused around corporate policies around expenses, we need to give the agent that, or the model, that information. So what we're going to do is actually give it knowledge to do so. And so the document that we provide in the exercise is this document that I have here on the screen, which is the expense policy. And as you can see, it's a Word document. It's no thrills, no frills. It's nothing that's been like overly formatted or processed or anything. It's just bare bones information, but it is in a table. I share that because you can actually provide knowledge to the agents in a variety of formats, whether it's like a Word document like we have here, if it's a PDF, for example, if it's an Excel spreadsheet, for example, you can provide that to the agent, and it's going to be able to leverage that when it's generating responses for you. So in this case, we are using a Word document that has the information provided in tabular format. I've also used things like markdown files in the past as well, just in case you're wondering what all are the options there. So for adding in that knowledge, you're going to select this Add button on the right, and then you'll see the different data sources we have available. So I've shared a lot around doing things with files, and that's what we're using today. But I do want to take like just a quick moment to talk about the other options that we have here. So Azure AI Search. If you created any RAG chatbots in the past with Foundry, if you've done things programmatically, you probably use Azure AI Search. That's going to be super helpful if you're creating an agent that needs to dig into a database of some things. So if you're familiar with projects we've done in the past around like Contoso Chat, for example, where we've had a folder full of like product knowledge or product information, that's one of the places where we use Azure AI Search, and it can actually search and index, and then your agent will be able to leverage that in generating the responses. The next option we have is going to be Microsoft Fabric. So if you're doing anything with data, you can or analysis, you can use Microsoft Fabric for that. Next, we have grounding with Bing Search. So this gives the agent access to the internet, because the agent as it is by itself does not have access to the internet. It only has access to the information it's been trained on. But if you want to take a step outside of that and also leverage what we have in the internet world, you're going to use the grounding with Bing Search. This also requires that you deploy a grounding with Bing resource in Azure as well. So don't forget that step. Yes, it's another service that you'll need to deploy, but I'm sharing that to say you're going to want to also deploy that resource too, and then connect it to your project here in Azure Foundry or Azure AI Foundry. The final option that you have available is going to be TripAdvisor. And so if you're doing any sort of agent that's centered around travel, for example, you can use this TripAdvisor one. So those are the different data sources that we have available. And so I'm going to say files in this case. And then the next thing that you would do, because in this point we are we're using a document that I shared that, again, it's this document for expense policy. What you're going to do is upload this. So to start off, you're going to create a new vector store, and then you're going to upload the file itself. And so I know I shared just a few options earlier, but these are all the different file types that are supported. So there's a lot of different things you can use. Like you can use an entire PowerPoint presentation if you wanted to, as a knowledge, a source of knowledge for your agent. But in my case, I'm going to be using my expense document. So you would just select the file, and I have it here. You select open, and then that's where it is. And then the last thing you're going to do is provide a name for the file itself. I've already uploaded this because I did some pre-work just to make sure you all had a great experience today. But what I would essentially do next from here is just upload and save, and then therefore the document will become available. Let's see if it'll still let me do it. It should, I believe, so you can see what it looks like once it's been uploaded. So yep, here we are. So once you add your knowledge source, it will appear here under this knowledge section. And then below you have the option to do some actions as well. For this particular exercise, we don't have any actions that we added for this exercise, but there are some things you can add in here. For example, we have a code interpreter. If you're doing anything that's going to have a need for using anything with generating code, you can do different graphs, charts. I've seen folks do examples where they give the agent just some data around like sales, for example, but you want this agent to take that sales data and generate charts for it. This is where you can start adding in those actions for it. We also have some more things in here as well. We have the Open API 3.0 specified tool. I personally have not actually tried this one, so I can't speak too much to it, but I want to let you know that, hey, it's an option. There are some more things you can do in terms of actions with either a custom function or Azure functions. You're going to do that with code, though. So for all my friends here who want to really try this out in Visual Studio Code, for example, and you need just a bit more flexibility with the actions that you're going to set up, this is what you can do with code. You can do your custom functions and you can do your Azure functions as well. So again, for this exercise, we're not adding any actions, but I just want you to know, like, hey, you can do more than just adding knowledge. You can also do some actions as well for the agent. And then from there, you can also define the model settings. You can modify the temperature, and then you can also modify the top P. I'm going to leave those at the default, and that's what we've done for the instructions in the exercise as well. So I, from there, can then test the agent out itself. Now, we have this button here that says Try in Playground. What that's going to do is take you over to the agent playground where you can start chatting with the agent. And this is where you can test things out to make sure that it's working the way that you intended for your agent to work. Because I have one already ready and good to go, I'm going to go ahead and select that one that I have here. And then again, as you can see, I didn't do anything different in terms of the setup, but this is pretty much similar. I just know like this one was working perfectly yesterday. So I'm going to select Try in Playground. And now that I am here in the playground, I hope that this does work perfectly today. But in any case, this playground looks very similar to the model playground that we also have here in Foundry. So if you're new to Foundry, beyond the agent playground, we do have a model playground where you can actually go and chat with models that you've deployed just to do your initial round evaluation to determine if this is the way that this is the model that you want to use for the app that you're creating or the AI system that you're creating. So in any case, we have one for agents as well. That's what we have here on the screen right now. And the first thing that we're going to do is come here into the chat and actually enter a prompt. So if you are following along in the instructions, I'm just going to show you where I'm at right now. We're down in the test here agent. We do have an example of a prompt that you can ask, which is, what's the maximum I can claim for meals? So I'm going to paste this into here. And this pointer arrow that points to the right, that's what you'll select to go ahead and run that. So let's see if we get a nice generated response. And this is great. So it happened so quick. I'll do another one so you can see it. But as soon as you actually submit a prompt, it's going to show that it's actually searching through the documents that that you've provided for that knowledge. And then here we have the actual response. And so it says that the maximum amount you can claim for meals is $50 per day. And then it provides some more context there about what the meals actually are that can be used for. And we also get a reference to where this information actually is in the documents that have been provided. So in this case, it's that expenses policy. So we get this citation, which is super helpful. So for us to know exactly where this information is coming from. So I'm going to do another one. The next one is going to be, what about accommodation? And so this is great because this is just as though you're just following up in conversation and you're only given just enough like context in the prompt that you're saying. But let's see what the actual agent will say here. So we'll go ahead and we'll submit that. See, looking for references using, again, y'all, it happens like super quick, but I hope you got a chance to see it. In any case, we do get the response back as well from the agent based on the information that we have here as well. And so this is essentially how you can go about creating an agent and testing things out in Azure AI Foundry. Other things I want to point out on here is that if you're curious to know how many tokens are being leveraged, or the tokens that are, I would say, the token count for the test that you're doing, you're going to get this information right here. Why this may potentially be helpful, not the only reason, but why it could be helpful is as you're continuing to refine the instructions for your agent, let's say it's giving super verbose, like very long responses, and you're noticing your token count is like astronomical. That's where, for example, I would probably suggest revising the instructions to specify, provide brief responses or something to that effect. Again, that's just one reason why you might be curious to know about the tokens that are here, but that's just information that's available. This other thing I want to point out too is that you can view the code that's that has been created for this agent. So you can then take that code and then you can actually do things over in Visual Studio Code, for example. If you do select that, then from here, you'll be able to get the code that you'll need, and you can copy and paste, bring that over into VS Code, and then continue on with creating your agent. So this is really cool because you can start in Foundry and then go to VS Code. We also have C# available as well as JavaScript. So I'm personally a Python girl, but if you want to do something with C# or JavaScript, you have those options as well. Now, this is really, honestly, everyone, we're just like touching the surface of creating agents. You can definitely do way more than beyond what we've shared today in the exercise that we have. And we have more resources available. I know I've seen some links that have been shared in the chat as well, but wanted to make sure you all had an idea of how you can go about creating an agent in Azure AI Foundry in the portal. Now, if you've done this exercise and you're done exploring, my next step would be for you to go into the Azure portal and delete that resource group. So that way, because you're not going to be using it anymore. But if you're still exploring, by all means, continue. Instructions just to clean up your resources are going to be in the cleanup section of the instruction, and this is how you can go about doing so. The last thing I'll leave you with before we switch back over to Savita to close us out is that although I showed things in the UI today, and I know I keep saying you could do things with code, I do want to share that we do have a new Azure AI Foundry extension in Visual Studio Code. And you can also do what I shared today with you in the UI, but with code and in Visual Studio Code instead. So do check that out. It's definitely it's an experience that I would say if you'd rather do things more programmatically in VS Code, that's where I would go hang out. However, doing things through the UI is also pretty great because things are connected. Any agents that you've created in the portal, they're going to show up in VS Code because everything's connected through your Azure login and the projects that you have underneath your Azure account. So I just wanted to ensure that you had that information as well. And so I would say from here, I think we're at a point where, yeah, I can hand things back over to Savita. So thanks all for hanging out for that exercise.
Thank you, April. That was awesome. Is there any question I can help answer here?
I would say, given the timing, I can hang out in the chat to see what we have, but let's go ahead and kick off the final slides that we have for this session.
Okay. Right. There we go. Knowledge check. So, April, you want to go for it?
Yes, I can. All right, everyone. Quizzes give me anxiety. So, but fortunately, I'm the one leading this quiz. So I hope you all are ready. I know we covered a lot today. There's so much to digest, but if you can just hold on for a little bit and let's see if we can get through this knowledge check. So, question that I have here. Which AI agent development service offers a choice of generative AI models from multiple vendors in the Azure AI Foundry model catalog? So the options are either going to be Azure AI Agent Service, OpenAI Assistance API, and then Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat. I'm going to give folks, let's call it 15 seconds. And oh wait, y'all are quick. Okay, I don't even need to give you 15 seconds. I see we have some
No,
responses
all A's.
already
Everyone
in the
is
chat.
responding A. That's what the session is
Okay.
all about, AI agent, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But you know, sometimes these knowledge checks, they're tricky. And as someone who has authored a couple learn modules, I try to provide a little tricky question sometimes. But this one was pretty I think straightforward. I see that the general consensus that I have here or I see here is going to be A for April or for Azure AI Agent Service. If you could take me to the next slide, Savita.
Yeah. Okay,
All
that's
right.
the answer.
Everyone who has selected A,
All
you are
right.
correct. And
Okay.
Savita, I'll have you go ahead and close things out for us. And I'll hang out in the chat for folks.
Sure. Yeah. So now we learned what is agent and how we can create agent. That was a wonderful session by April as well. Agent basically a developer who specializes in building generative AI solution, and it's a software service that uses AI to assist users with information and task automation. I'll say this way, being a developer in the industry for 15 years. So agent is nothing new. It's a piece of code, but it is powered by a large language model, and it can basically do autonomous tasks. Basically we can gain insights. So it's a newer API which is powered by LLM. So that makes agents stand out from the previously we used to write the code without agents. Now we can write a piece of code which is powered by LLM, and it's a kind of a microservice. So which AI agent development service offer a choice of generative AI models from multiple vendors? So we already know that we have the different agent development services, which is AI agent service, OpenAI Assistant API, Microsoft 365 Copilot, and we saw different frameworks basically as different semantic kernel autogen. So what are the different elements basically of Azure AI Agent Service that enables to basically it to ground prompts with contextual data? Basically, we have model catalog, code interpreter tool, and various knowledge data sources. So you can go here and basically congratulations, you have complete the learning milestone basically Azure AI Agent Service. You should feel proud of yourself achieving this milestone. So you can share what you have learned in this session on LinkedIn or with your own network, basically. And you can also complete the AI Skill Fest. Hashtag is #AI Skill Fest, or connect with others on their AI journey. So congratulations once again, and thank you for being part of this AI learning experience. And thank you, April, once again for this wonderful partnership and wonderful session. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. I know we have a lot of good questions that we have in the chat. We have been dropping in some additional links as well for resources. I did mention that Visual Studio Code extension for Azure AI Foundry. I just put that in the chat for you all. That'll take you to the documentation that we have, which will also lead you to where you can go to also find the actual extension itself in Visual Studio Code. But Tabitha, I'll go ahead and let you do this slide before I keep running my mouth. So go ahead.
Sure. No, I'm good. Yeah, there was, basically. So these sessions are going on pretty much every day. And the URL is aka.ms/agents hack. So keep checking that out. Thank you, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed the session and learned something great here.
Yeah, absolutely. There's one question that I've seen Naveed have asked a couple of times, and I do just want to address that. So Naveed,
Sure.
if you recall earlier, I was showing that we had the option to do things with actions when you're creating your agent. So if you're using something like an Azure function, for example, depending on the logic that you have set up, you can set a trigger that will trigger something to happen at whatever is specified, defined time it is. So that way you do get more of that autonomous behavior that you're looking for. That's just a very like watered down example that I just mentioned. The exercise that we've done ourselves, this one isn't necessarily, I would say, fully autonomous in that nature per se. But if you start doing things with actions and things with like functions, for example, you can do that as well. You can also create an example that would enable the agent to make decisions as well, especially if you have multiple tools. So if you are asking a question, and let's say you have multiple tools available that you're using for your agent scenario, then the agent can decide based on the prompt that's been submitted which tool to actually use. So that way it can execute or do whatever it is that you're requesting. So while the example that we've showed in the exercise today doesn't fully express that, I just do want to make it clear that yes, you can do that. You're going to probably want to start venturing into doing things more with code though, to try that out. If you are not already, please do join the Discord that we have. I think Lee might still be here. If so, Lee, if you can drop the link to, there we go, the Discord. That's the link. It's on the screen. Go to that Discord. This is where you can find a lot of different projects that folks are creating. We come in there often as well with the product team to share as well what's new, and then different samples as well. So do join that Discord, especially right now as we're continuing to talk through agents. And I know MCP is everyone's other hot topic right now. This is where I would say to go today to get the latest in what we have to share, to get your questions answered as well, and to also find different use cases that folks are creating. Let's see.
I can add something here as
go
well, April. So yeah,
Yeah.
people are asking the same question, basically how they are autonomous in nature, and someone is asking about the voice assistant. Basically, take agent as an API, which is powered by LLM. Basically, that's a functionality they bring. Then you can connect with it multiple data sources, basically wherever your data is. Basically, the way you connect with several APIs, it's super straightforward. The coding logic is all yours. So agent comes as a powerful functionality powered by LLM, but then you can write your own coding logic, basically, where you're connecting with any data sources to query the data. then gaining insight using agent, and then connecting the voice APIs. Basically, then you can leverage Azure Speech Service or basically, and then feed it to Azure agent to do the more tasks. It's called the kind of a microservice level architecture here. So you can do whatever you want, but agents are powered by LLM. So it is solving, like basically where earlier you were writing thousands of lines of code to gain insights out of your data. Now with agent one call API, you can do pretty fast. And the way agent work is like your prompt is your basically your query. So you are writing a detailed prompt. Okay, you are the agent and you are supposed to do this, 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 this. Go ahead and get the data. If your data is in Azure Blob Storage, then you're getting an API for blob storage and getting the data and feeding it to agent. Then if you want to save the data somewhere else, maybe blob storage or maybe to SharePoint or Azure SQL or somewhere else, then again you're leveraging that API. It's like connecting the different components like a microservice architecture, and then agent capability you're solving by providing it to say various knowledge sources and giving arms and legs to your agent by connecting to various functions as well. So if you want to leverage speech service, translation service, all those can be easily connected to agents also.
Thank you. There's one other question in here as well with respect to, I want to make sure I'm pronouncing your name correctly. I believe it's Yuvaragja, I believe. And the question is there an option to create voice assistants using the agents? And so I'm assuming the ask here is, can you create an agent that can respond, or you can submit prompts with voice and then you get a response back, whether that's also through quote unquote voice from the agent, if you will. If you are integrating speech to text, which would come from the voice prompt that I give, and then submit that to the agent, and then the agent could potentially also respond if you then do text to speech, and that'll provide like a media file for whatever the output is. In theory, yes, you could do that. I literally just did that on Friday, but for a different use case. So the option is there. I don't think we have an example in a Learn module that has that set up, but I do know that I think it's next week, I'll be doing a stream, part of Agent Hack, I believe it is, where Cedric and I will be going through what an example of that looks like as well. So if we aren't connected on LinkedIn, connect with me on there. You'll see the link to where you can go find that live stream for next week as well. But I just wanted to say, like, yes, you can do things with voice. It takes a little bit more of a setup and there's a little bit more things involved, but it can be done. So I think we're getting closer to time. Savita, do you have any final questions you wanted to answer or any final thoughts?
No, I think someone is asking for what, that can an agent be powered more than one LLM? So you create one agent with one LLM basically model, then you create another agent which can be another model you can use. Like maybe you have one agent with GPT-4 or mini, another agent with O1 mini. So that you can do. Maybe, I mean, the way Microsoft is working on the new features every day, who knows, maybe one agent can come with multiple LLM model. Again, though I'm not sure what functionality it will solve, but if you, that's how it works as of now.
Perfect.
And the vision-based AI agent, as I said, all the agent services can be integrated with other AI services as of now, or you can leverage the AI agents with other LLM which are powered by vision, like a GPT-4 or vision model, to leverage the vision capability in your agent code, basically.
Perfect. One final thing.
Agent sorry. One more question. I just thought I was just reading. Yes, you can use agents to communicate. That's what I was talking about. It's a microservice level architecture. So you have multiple agents. One agent can talk to another agent, like a travel agent, example, booking, to expense, to report. So one agent is capable of one thing, then another, then you can connect them. It's a simple piece of code you are doing the way you write a code for non-agent code, basically. Yes, April, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that's actually the one that I was going to respond to. We have an example that we've done in another Contoso example where we generated an article. And so we have like a writer agent and then like a copy editor agent. Those might not be the exact terms, but in any case, once the article was generated, it then got sent over to the editor, and then the editor made updates and would kick it back over to the writer if there was any changes needed. So that's an example of having two agents communicate with each other. I would say just for fun, I was going to build something that would enable two agents just to debate each other, but that's for another day. So with that said, I think we are at time. Thank you everyone for tuning in today. I know this is a super exciting topic. And again, go to the Discord, do join the Discord. Folks from my team and the product team, we all hang out in there. So that's where you can come and find us. But again, thanks for joining. Yeah, I hope you enjoy the rest of your Tuesday.